Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into what is arguably the most absolutely critical, foundational concept of this entire generative AI era, the token. Look, if you want to understand how AI actually works under the hood, how it's priced, and how to master it without completely blowing up your budget, you have to understand the underlying economics.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover tokens as the new AI currency. Second, the hidden cost of AI. Third, understanding AI tokenomics. Fourth, the true cost of prompts. And finally, we'll wrap up with actionable strategies to actually save you money.
All right, Section 1, Tokens as the new AI currency. Let's get right into demystifying what a token actually is and why it's the absolute baseline for understanding everything else in the AI world.
We really have to fundamentally reframe how we look at AI. You see, a token isn't just some piece of dry technical jargon used by engineers in a lab. It's the core technical unit for processing text, images, and code. But more importantly for us, it serves as the primary baseline for billing. It is literally the currency you spend every single time you hit enter and interact with a large language model.
Section 2, the hidden cost of AI. Now that we know what our currency actually is, let's pull back the curtain. Drawing from Zhang Kilai's really insightful book on tokenomics, we need to look at exactly how expensive this new AI economy is to run behind the scenes.
The shift we're living through right now is just dramatic. When we contrast the old world of the internet with the new generative AI economy, the energy differences are staggering. I mean, traditional search engines, they're incredibly cheap, operating at roughly 0.3 watt-hours per query. But generative AI reasoning? Yeah, that requires a massive amount of power, jumping exponentially to as much as 3 watt-hours for a single interaction.
3 watt-hours. I know, on its own, it might just sound like a fun fact, but it is a harsh physical reality. Because that exponential cost per interaction means that the tokens you use directly translate into massive cloud infrastructure leasing, severe hardware depreciation, and just enormous electricity consumption. Understanding a token means understanding the true physical cost boundary of AI productivity.
Moving on to Section 3, Understanding AI Tokenomics. To actually make sense of these skyrocketing costs and how they directly impact you, we need to understand the new economic framework that governs them.
The crucial takeaway here is that this economy has two very distinct sides. On the supply side, you've got big tech companies fighting these brutal price wars. They're constantly optimizing incredibly complex algorithms, things like KV cache and quantization, which are basically just ways to compress data and remember chat history more efficiently, all just to lower their generation costs. But over on the demand side, well, that's us. We're the developers and enterprises desperately trying to manage our token usage to maximize our return on investment.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever been in the middle of a super long conversation with an AI, and suddenly it just seems to forget your original instructions? If you've ever had an AI suffer from this kind of amnesia midway through a task, you probably thought it was a technical glitch. Actually, scratch that. It's not a glitch at all. You've simply gone bankrupt on tokens. Your budget for that specific context window just ran dry.
Which brings us perfectly into Section 4, the true cost of prompts. Drawing on Tan Cheng Li's book about AI users and tokens, we need to completely reframe how we view the prompts we're typing out every single day.
You see, prompts aren't just you casually talking to an AI. They're a direct consumption of a finite, highly limited space called the context window. Think of your prompt like slices of a pie. Notice that giant slice labeled redundant fluff? That's all those polite filler words we use, like please, thank you, or could you maybe do this for me? That fluff quickly eats up your valuable real estate, leaving far less memory for the AI to actually process your core intent.
And on top of that, it is absolutely vital to understand that not all languages are built equally in the AI economy. Because of how different tokenizers encode language, a language like Chinese will often consume significantly more tokens than English to convey the exact same meaning. If you're working in multiple languages, these encoding properties will drain your limits much faster depending on the tokenizer the model happens to use.
Finally, Section 5, Strategies to Save Money. With this clear understanding of context windows and token consumption, let's explore Tan Cheng Li's actionable cost-saving playbook. This methodology is all about maximizing your demand-side ROI, and it really boils down to 3 sequential, incredibly effective steps to drastically boost efficiency and keep your AI bills low. Simplify prompts,
utilize context caching, and master model routing. Let's break these down. First up, simplify your prompts. Like we saw earlier, you really have to stop treating the AI like a human at a networking event. It doesn't need small talk. Strip away the polite fluff. Instead, use structured, almost symbolic inputs. Your entire goal here is to convey your exact intent using the absolute minimum number of tokens possible. It's all about surgical precision. Step 2 is context caching. This one is absolutely critical for developers and high-frequency users. For long conversations or complex workflows, you need to strategically manage your task segmentation. Utilize the large language model's context caching mechanisms so that you aren't paying for the AI to reread and reprocess the entire chat history on every single multi-turn reply. Seriously, don't pay for the same history twice. And finally, step 3, dynamic model routing. Look, you've got to stop using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Use cheap, lightweight models like the Flash or Lite versions for simple, high-volume tasks like formatting text or basic data extraction. Save your precious budget and only spend tokens on the expensive, high-logic flagship models when you truly need that complex reasoning.
It all boils down to this one golden rule for modern AI mastery. Use the least amount of information to exchange for the most effective results. In this generative AI era, precision and efficiency will always triumph over sheer volume.
So now that you understand the true economics of the AI era, from the massive energy cost on the server side down to the micromanagement of your own context window, I want to leave you with this question. Are you spending your tokens wisely, or are you just burning through your context window? Take a hard look at your own prompts today. Strip out the fluff, route your models smartly, and start maximizing your AI ROI. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this completely transforms the way you interact with AI moving forward.